Hello guys, welcome to Mecharize Hobby. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Transformers collaborative Back to the Future mashup Gigawatt, and it's surprisingly disappointing. This transformable Delorean figure is indeed very special to many of us. It not only makes the first collaboration between Hasbro and Universal, but also it celebrates 35th anniversary of the Back to the Future franchise. However, great collaboration comes with great cost. Gigawatt was originally going to be a Walmart exclusive, and only 1,985 units were made. And of course, they were sold out in seconds. Fortunately, Hasbro soon released a retail version back in October last year, and they were sold out as well. The one currently in my possession actually came from Amazon Canada, and it cost a whopping 60 Canadian dollars. 60 Canadian dollars for a deluxe class figure. Keep that in mind. And now let's move on to the packaging. This packaging is really cool. Just like the previous collaboration figures, you can see it's very G1 styled. On the top, you have a small DeLorean just about entering the time vortex. On the back, it has a giant tech spec that shows he's not that strong, pretty smart, super fast, with not that much firepower. The last two specs are pretty interesting. You have flex capacitor tops out at 10, but the time travel is only at 8. This is kind of accurate to the film because in the original film, the capacitor does need a crazy amount of power in order to operate just in one-way time travel. On the side note, the Walmart limited edition has a different art on the back, and it also gives you a sticker that shows the number of unit. Other than those small differences, from my research, everything else is just the same as the retail release. Moving on to the inner packaging, you will see 1.12 gigawatts, which is amount of electrical power that a flex capacitor needs. And that is a really cool reference. But when you fully open up the side, you will see something very strange. Normally, there is a full inner package that protects the figure. Interestingly for this one, part of the inner packaging has been cut off, and the gap is big enough to stuff another figure in it. Well, I guess the extra storage allow you to put some limited edition figure inside and don't have to worry about losing them. Moving on to the vehicle mode. I have to say, the molding is incredible. It has a bunch of intricate details, especially at the back of the vehicle mode. You can see wires, vents, and license plate. Pretty much everything you see from the prop is here. In addition, one noteworthy thing is that the panel gaps and hinges are hidden so well that I wish all of the other figures were like this. I'm looking at you, Bumblebee. Other than incredible details, it also features some gimmicks. The first gimmick is that you have a flight mode. Simply fold down the 4 wheels and then you're good to go. The second gimmick is the famous scissor door. Yes, surprisingly, Hasbro did manage to recreate the door here. Just like the real car, you can simply open up the door to reveal some robot guts. And from a distance, it actually looks pretty good. However, something very funny is that the door and the door cell is actually one piece. You can clearly see the molded line that shows a silhouette of the door. It's a little bit annoying, but I do understand this is something that they had to do in order to keep the cost down. And now is the time to transform it. The transformation is pretty much the same as the Siege Sideswipe. It's very simple and intuitive, and I think most people are going to enjoy it. There are places, especially in the chest area, where parts are a bit too tight, so you do have to be careful not to rub the paint. The robot mode we ended up with is very interesting. Being a remold of Sideswipe, it managed to look very different. They only share few parts. The upper thigh, the forearm, and the waist piece are the same. Everything else is completely different. However, the biggest thing you'll probably noticed is this massive chest piece. This is probably the craziest chest piece I have ever seen on a Transformer, period. I mean, look at it. It's so big, so square, and it's so flat. I swear if you put this guy underneath a bright light, you will probably see a silhouette of square with limbs. Strange styling aside, I do appreciate the flex capacitor being well detailed and accurate to the movie. And that summarizes the positives and somewhat neutral aspects of the figure. And now let's move on to the bad stuff. First of all, the paint. The paint of this figure is really strange. The color is completely off when you compare to the official image. In the image, the figure was shown to be very metallic and shiny, but in hand, it just looks gray and dull. But that is only the tip of the iceberg. There are many missing paint apps. For instance, the backlight is not fully painted, the side bracket is not painted, some wires are not painted, and the face is also not fully painted. All of these paint issues show that Hasbro really had no idea what paint should be used for the DeLorean time machine. And that is just absolutely hilarious. The second problem is the rear wheels. The rear wheels are not straight. They're actually tilted inward. No matter how hard I try, I can't get these wheels to look right. Thankfully, they are not that visible from certain angles. The third issue is the accessories. The accessories are kind of pointless actually. The gun is incredibly hollow and the figure can't really hold it all that well. The Mr. Fusion accessory has probably the worst connection. It's so loose that you can simply tap on it with teeny tiny of pressure and it will just fall off. And finally, the famous lightning pole was already bent out of the box, and there is no use for it. The only thing you can do is to plug onto the shoulders or forearms for some time travel decoration, I guess. Again, the accessories are really bad. The fourth problem is the knees. The knees are way too loose. It's not a deal breaker, but it's very annoying. But by far, the biggest issue that I have with this figure is the crotch. I mean the mushroom peg on the waist. Just look closely. It's completely crooked, which means his upper body will always tilt it towards the right side. This blew me away. I have no idea how in the world they managed to screw this thing up. I wonder, did they ever test their figure before release? I mean, it's Hasbro, so they should, right? Again, this waist issue almost break the figure for me, because no matter what poses I put him in, he will always end up looking weird, like he's having a back pain. Again, $60 for a quality like this. It's unbelievable. Final thought on this figure. When they announced this collaborations, I was really excited about it because I was a huge fan of these two properties. And on top of that, Hasbro has done a really nice job with Siege and some authorized figures that I truly believed they could hit a home run with this one. But the figure we received is not bad. It's kind of good, but it's still a disappointment. Yes, the molding is incredible. The DeLorean mode is almost perfect for its size. I have to give credit where credit is due. However, the figure is small. It has strange proportion in robot mode. It has a horrible paint apps. The accessories are pointless. The QC issue is laughably bad. And it costs $60 before tax. I can't recommend this figure at this price. It's absolutely not worth it. You should use that money to get some Kingdom figures instead. So what do you think about this figure? Please leave your comment down below and I'll see you next time.